Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Diabolical Souls Presents, where we do Cyberpunk Edgerunners, Episode 5. I'm your host, Gooch, and with me, I have my crew. But before we do that, I just want to do a quick shout-out. Thank you to everyone that was watching us last night. And before we get started, if you could hit that like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Leave a comment, and of course, subscribe. But not only just to me, but to everyone here, that'd be greatly appreciated. These guys are also content creators. They put out great stuff. So subscribe. Oh, Zach, really?
Oh, I did. I thought. Sorry, I thought you were bringing us in like later.
Wow, I'm just like he's starting already.
Zach is sick of your shit, dude.
Yeah. No, sometimes when I'm breathing, like I hold my breath in when I'm inking. Like, because there's a line I don't want to fuck up.
It's all good. Well, I'm happy I got the crew here again. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun. You really threw me off, Zach. I was in a good zone. I was in a great zone, and then you threw me right off. I gotta get into my method acting again. So as always, this guy's been with me from the start, from Blue Eye Samurai. Remember back in the day, the amateur, when we started this little thing, doing animation reviews way back in the day. How are you doing, bud?
I'm doing okay. I'm a bit under the weather, and I can't seem to figure out how to get this OBS background to go away. But yeah, you've come a long way, and I'm sort of here for the ride. So
No,
fun, man.
No, there's a reason why I mentioned you, because you were willing to join me do the original Blue Eye Samurai review. You've been with me from the start, and I appreciate it. Like, we've had a lot of fun talking about this. We've really dove deep into Blue Eye Samurai, Arcane. We're getting into Cyberpunk Edgerunners now. It's been a blast, dude, and I appreciate it. So I just want to do the shout out to you. Everyone go check out his channel as well. He's got some great content there. The guy does incredible breakdowns. So speaking of breakdowns, we're going to take it to Detroit City. Sammy, the NFL draft is being held there tonight. So how are you doing, buddy?
Oh, great. They wanted $800 for a VIP package, so that wasn't happening. But
what the hell?
Wow.
I mean, I'm not surprised. Like, dude, I mean, you see how much concert tickets are?
Yeah,
but
it's the NFL draft.
I paid close to $60 to see Alice Cooper in August, so the tickets are getting expensive.
Fair enough.
I paid $300 to see Tool in the fall.
Worth it. Yeah. But yeah, how you doing, Sammy? Like, thanks for joining us. You've kind of been new to the scene. You've been meeting a lot of people. You've been on this channel a few times now. You were on with us last night. That was a blast. How you doing, bro?
I'm loving every second of it. I love meeting new people, and very much on this show, I like enjoying content, which was not the same as last night's show, but but it was a lot of fun, and like I said, this show is just banoonies, and I love it, so I can't wait to get into it.
Well, let's go from the youth to the wise, let's put it that way. Mr. Emperor Goodwin, Jay, how are you, sir? Thank you for joining us again.
I'm not sure if wise would be the word that I would use. Decrepit, perhaps. Yeah, I'll give you that.
I appreciate you joining us. I was glad that you sent me that subtle message, and it's been a blast having you on.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. I mean, last week I had to catch up with everything, and so it was kind of the quick immersion into the world. Now that we're working up to speed, the only thing that I thought was, did I take a nap in the middle of this? This went really fast. Use a little extra here. But...
Yeah, I'm used to these hour-long episodes, and this is like 30 minutes on the dot or 22 minutes without the credits, so it's just like, this is nice and fast and easy.
Yeah, I think with the intro and the outro, it's like, I think it's maybe 18 minutes.
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, this one is really fast.
It's almost like it was really edited for network TV. It's got spots for like
commercial
stuff.
I will say that if Zack Snyder was involved, he could probably stretch this out to about 2 hours if he needed to.
The 6-part movie for the first
and then
episode,
have the extended cut.
Well,
let's go over to Hosty. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well this evening. Doing well.
Nice. and that's it. You're just doing well. That's it. You're
Yeah,
diving deep into Has Been Hotel, so I'm sure you got lots to say.
I'll save that for the review. Holy shit! It gets worse having to edit it. It gets worse having to edit it because I'm finding all these clips of stuff that I enjoy, and I'm just like, why don't I just do that instead? Why do I have to go through this show frame by frame while I'm editing it?
Oh God.
Oh my gosh.
So, and then of course we have our artist who Zach is,
and I only just finished the script for episode 2.
Oh fuck.
We have Zach in the middle there. He has joined on when I think it was an Arcane when you joined on. I believe
I jumped on episode 4.
Yeah, episode 4, and he's been doing all these art pieces, and he will reveal it at the end of the show who he's drawing. We're not going to say who he's doing tonight, but he has a lot of character he's drawn. We're going to be doing an auction at the end of this series, and save your money if you want to buy a piece. He's willing to sell the pieces. And how are you doing, Zach? We saw a sneak peek in the backstage, and it looks awesome. So
I'm doing good. It's kind of funny. At the end of every episode, I'll show a drawing. I'll ask the crowd, hey, what's the next character? And then, as I'm drawing the new character for the new episode, then people are watching and are like, yeah, you ain't gonna fucking find out because you had to tune in for last week to catch that.
Yeah.
But no, I do like it. Honestly, and I'm gonna say this, you run a very good show, very professionally. I get a kick out of it. And it's also, it may not seem like it, out there in public, but I am a nervous fucking wreck every single time I come on and I got to focus on the drawing because it's literally like, I'm not plotting out the composition. It's all last minute, on the spot. So it gets nerve wracking. So I try to think very closely on the art and talk about the episode second.
Nice.
Yeah, Zach actually slipped me $5 if I could go really long-winded on any of my descriptions. Give me a little extra time.
What a waste of
money.
money.
Yeah.
I strongly encourage anybody who wants to go ahead and talk for a hot minute.
We didn't realize from that big long sigh right out of the
gate. Well, he got my counter proposal. He was like, "Oh, I don't know if I can afford that." Okay.
A quick shout out to everyone in the chat. Zach's buddy, I hope you're feeling a lot better, bro. This man has been sick for the last 5-6 months. This guy has been going through the ringer. So hopefully he's feeling a lot better, and we'll see him next week on his show on Wednesday. Please go check him out. Zach's is a brother, so get better. We miss you. Also, thank you, Hostman, for putting that up. This show is not for anyone under the age of 18, or if you do, please have permission to watch this, because it is like a kind of an R-rated show. So a lot of scenes.
We're not P-Diddy over here.
Yeah. Nos, thanks for joining us again, there, brother. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining us. Vex. Hi, Vex. You know what, Vex? I'm just going to do this just for you because I think it's funny. This is for Vex.
Can you write him?
Yeah. I can write him.
that's for Vex. Thanks for joining us.
That was very uncomfortable.
Do I?
I feel so bad because, Vex, in the group chats, I'm always be like, I'm always talking about how sexy black women are, and she's black, and I'm like, am I making her uncomfortable? Or is she also getting a kick out of this too, with all the memes and photos that I'd be throwing in?
Yeah.
You guys can't see it, but I'm putting a cross up at the screen right now.
Okay.
That won't work.
Yeah. Well, this episode is for Cyberpunk Edgerunners. This is episode 5, All Eyes on Me, it's called, and we'll jump right into it. So as we finished off last week, we saw the death. Yeah, there is kind of a reverb there.
Yeah, somebody's got an echo.
Yeah, Zach, is your thing up again?
Try that.
Zach. Yeah, it's gone now.
Sorry.
There.
Found it.
Damn it, Zach. So yeah, it's left. There it is again.
No, it's still on.
Yeah, it's still there. That's weird.
How about now?
Hello, are we good?
Can't be
It's
me
gone.
now.
It's gone.
It still sounds like it might be there a bit.
Is it a bit?
It's not that
Okay.
bad.
It's not bad now.
Okay.
Is it coming?
So yeah, there it is again. So this episode, we start off with David and Maine. They're back in the Edgerunners headquarters, discussing the death of Pilar. Well, the untimely death of Pilar. And so, any comments about that before we get started? Before we get into because this is going to be a quick scrub through, I think, tonight. So
yeah, I mean, I don't blame David for not wanting Pilar's hands because you don't know where they've been, or maybe you do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
need at least an
yeah, with
alcohol
Pilar,
wipe down
you
or
do.
something.
yeah.
Well, I think there's an interesting. They don't talk much about the loss of Pilar, right? But that's reflective of the life. That you're here and you're gone, and things can be quick. And if you sit and dwell on it, then you're not gonna last very long. But it's also about David he has kind of got a vision of what he wants now that is different. That Maine is like, well, just take him. It's free chrome or whatever. And David now he's got his own idea of how he wants to chrome up, and this ain't it.
Nos had a great comment here. Gooch kind of looks like David when he gets jacked and racially ambiguous and commits crimes. It checks too many boxes. Facts. I'm just gonna say facts. So this part right here, they're like Jay said, and like Amateur said, that Pilar's hands were given. Like Rebecca gives the okay, that like the sister of Pilar gives him the okay to have him, and like David's kind of like, no, I don't want this, and then they start having a conversation about David getting jacked up, and start scrubbing here, and you see the relationship forming between the two of them, where like even Maine kind of calls him out. You've changed, just like the way he's looking. Like, yeah, actually, this
Yeah, I love
moment
that
right here.
shot. He's like, you got laid, didn't you?
Yeah,
And he, like,
yes,
leans in a bit.
yeah.
Dude,
Exactly like
it is true.
You got laid.
It is
didn't
true. You can catch somebody. You just know when somebody's laid.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I remember the
He's
first
more
time I told
relaxed
my
and
best
confident.
friend. I was like, I remember the first time I told my best friend after I got laid and stuff. He's like, dude, I could see it. You're cooler now. I was like, yeah.
There's a lot of energy that bled out. You're a lot calmer now.
That's okay, Hostman. It'll happen someday.
She took the words out.
Yeah, when I'm married.
We believe in you.
And I'm
Attaboy.
sure he'll be a wonderful man.
He'll
Jesus
come in,
would be
his voice
proud.
will be completely different. He'll have a
Yeah,
face.
hey, man, what's up?
Hi, guys.
Hostman shows up. It's Barry White imitation.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Eraserhead, thanks for joining us, bro.
Boys.
How's it going, Eraserhead? I just want to shout out to Eraserhead. He's one of the loyal viewers. He's been there since, I think, from day one, Amateur. Eraserhead and Jamma have been consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
coming on
Jamma for
sometime.
sure. Eraserhead was there
Yeah.
pretty early, yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us, Eraserhead. Appreciate it. So yeah, this moment right here, which leads to it, really, awesome moment, which is this scene where we see Kiwi in the tub, and she's just soaking in the tub, and
Her
she also
eyes
gets
in this.
yeah, it's like a cyber bath. I maybe Nos would know, but like she's kind of soaking all her cyberware in there, and
Yeah,
kind of
well,
like
the thing is when you're like net running like that, especially from the video game, there's like a more immersive way of doing it, and like your body is basically in like passive mode, but you got to be in ice water, otherwise all your cyberware in your head's gonna overheat.
So is that like
And then you're gonna
the
fry like a
cooling
boiled
fan in
egg.
piece? Is that like
It's like the
cooling
it's like the
fan in a
cooling
PC?
fan in a PC, 100%.
That,
yeah.
yep.
Boosh, thanks for joining us, bro.
Boosh.
What's going on, Boosh? Not that early, but chilling around a while. Thanks. Well, I appreciate you joining us, brother. Does she have a rubber ducky?
I immediately thought Sesame Street on that.
And Nos, like I knew he would. So the reason why they put them in the tubs of ice because your cyberware overheats and you'll die. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's literally a mission in the video game where you fail if you just pull them out of the network right away. They like overheat and die. So it's just a little like this show's excellently adapted from the game. Like they do it more or less perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
there are specializers that don't need the tub place. Okay.
It just kills me because so much reference, and I said it for Arcane, and even for Cyberpunk, like there's so much good references for video games in this that I don't know. Where I'm like, dude, Apex Legends show, these shows are making this possible, and yet it's not here.
Yep.
That's great.
You got
look at the look on Main's face.
Yeah.
It's like reminds me of a internet historian video where he just takes like little stock images, cuts them out, and then just slides it over to animate it. It just reminds me of that so much.
Yeah. Well, I love the animation. Like I really love how they do the eyes for the characters. Like I really truly appreciate that. Like it's like we did Scavenger's Reign earlier in the week, and we talked about how simple and basic it is with the artwork with their 2D animation. This is like the complete opposite end of the spectrum where you've seen so much detail and passion put into the art and the details and the palettes, the colors, the rendering, everything. It's just incredibly well done. Again, I think it's just the two different type of studios. Obviously, this one is I forgot that's the
Studio Trigger. Studio Trigger.
Yeah, Studio Trigger.
Studio Trigger. Yeah, okay, that's what. Yeah, they do a great job doing the artwork for this, and then we get Kiwi coming out of the tub, and
nice.
And she just sits down and sits. She's completely naked, and she doesn't even care. She just sits down.
With her blue nips.
Yeah, and then starts talking about.
Kiwi needs to do some squats.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
There's the round is in the wrong place for her, and it definitely doesn't exceed like her waistline somehow. It's like, baby, we need to work on your back.
Yeah, she doesn't appear to be healthy, but I did dig the spider web aesthetic.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty interesting way to map the female body. And bringing more curves to a character that is pretty slender.
Yeah.
But and also her smoking her cigarette through the mask is
yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
Well, the mask is pretty much her mouth.
Yeah.
Has that Hank Hill.
Yeah.
She has that Hank. The anti-dunk.
Yeah, it's an anti-ass actually. That's what
yeah.
So.
Oh fuck.
Can relate.
It's a brown hole.
That's where blue milk comes from. Nice.
Oh God.
But she sits down and she starts calling out David that he went to Arasaka Academy, and Maine is kind of surprised by this. He's just like, "What? Like their boy didn't go there?" And then I guess it does make sense that he went there. That's why the mom. Oh geez, what's the mom's name again?
Gloria.
Yeah, Gloria. Thank you. That's why she was wanting to grab parts all the time and wants to get paid and get all the eddies. And so it's that conversation, and then they start talking about Tanaka, and they want to plan a way to get a way to kidnap Tanaka, and they find out that Tanaka's avid interest in the works of someone with the name with the initials JK, which is Jimmy Kurosaki, which David knows because he uses the brain dance chips to like we saw in the beginning with the JK on it. And so he starts talking about, I know this guy, and then they're kind of like, oh, look at this kid, like he like he's starting to surprise them, like his of the information he has. So next, after this scene here, and guys, jump in if you have any comments about this scene here.
I was just gonna say one thing. It breaks my heart because you see a good relationship, a good foundation with all these characters, and as the show goes along, it gets heartbreaking to know what happens to these people. You know, I'm not gonna, like say who specifically or whatever, but the betrayals, the deaths, the success of one person that favors us and then the other one. It's just heartbreaking because you live in this world, and no matter what you're gonna do in that world, you're gonna get a sad ending. You just can't win. It's not designed for you to win in that world.
Yeah. CLS, thanks for joining us, brother. Nas saying Gooch has an XBD of Dorio and Kiwi scissoring. Again, facts.
Yeah, the cast all have great chemistry together, and it's interesting to see in the next couple of episodes. Kind of interesting to see how they fall apart. But I'm going to levy one criticism against the show. I thought it was a little too convenient that Kiwi just happens to mention the brain dances in front of David, and like she was right there, and Maine just happened to kind of be talking to her right there.
I don't know if it's that much of a convenience because I think they were waiting for her to come out and
they're basically
give
doing
them that information.
Yeah, they're basically doing data recon. That's why she was in the immersion. She's scanning databases and trying to figure out, because they don't have a job from Faraday yet, but they kind of know what the target is going to be because they already had one that failed. So they're just doing additional recon, and she comes across this and she's telling it to Maine because she just came out from this, and he's like, so what you got? And so she starts telling, and then David recognizes JK.
Yeah, and this is where he's saying like Jimmy, like JK, Jimmy Kurosaki, he's like this perfectly timed. Like, why would you bring your bodyguard to a fetish XBD tune-in? So that they kind of capitalize on that idea and start planning away.
I found the animation studio that did Scavenger's Reign. It's called Titmouse.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting name. Probably just a bad translation, maybe.
No, it's Titmouse.
No,
it's
Titmouse is an actual animal.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. But Titmouse has been around for I want to say close to 20 years, maybe longer. They've been doing Adult Swim animation.
Yeah,
for
I was going to say they're
time.
really entwined with their Adult Swim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would make sense.
Yeah, they did.
Them and
title sequence of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, I think that this is interesting because what we saw before was just David watching kind of a pirate XBD from JK, but they start talking about these corpos that they've got all kinds of weird fetishes that they like BDs for, but this one in particular, Tanaka he loves really violent stuff, and that they're pointing out that JK actually for the real immersion, where you take some of the safeties off to really get the adrenaline up for people, you have to go in and have the XBD modified to match your body, and so they recognize that as well. That's a potential grab point, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good
I'm
plan.
sorry, but would you want to come in contact with a person like that? Like I would be like, no, fuck this. I'm gonna pass.
Well, you let me know where the good, trustworthy people are in Cyber City. I'll go ahead.
Like,
I know a flight list of people that would be interested. So
yeah, I mean the biggest thing is that you are wealthy, and it makes more sense for JK to make sure that he takes care of you, because continued money will keep flowing.
Yeah. So yeah, they start planning here, and I love the detail. Like this, you see so much in the game, like this kind of graffiti and the walls. Like it's such a gritty look. Very well done. So yeah, now they're
just a cool tidbit about the graffiti from the game too. I sort of looked into it because I was curious, and like usually you would just have like a little texture pattern, like you'd make an asset and just hit the repeat button or whatever, but it's actually like kilometers of handwritten graffiti by like studio members or like the dev team and whatnot. It's kind of neat.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it's all like all of it is more or less unique. I'm sure it's repeated in some places. The map is gigantic, but just that level of detail comes across in the show for sure.
We got 36 people watching. I appreciate everyone watching right now. If you guys can hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe to not just me but everyone on the panel, will be greatly appreciated as we continue to talk about BAGFACE. Will be here soon. Thanks also Altamith for bringing that up. He'll be here. He's just gonna be a little late. He mentioned that he's
in the dungeon. Pray for BAGFACE.
Yeah. And then Nos, you have to remember that some BDs are tuned to where you can actually have sensory abilities, like you can smell and feel and what the person who recorded it did. And we kind of see that later on with David. But here in this scene, no, go ahead, Zach.
I was just about to ask, in this world, and it's going to be a dumb question, these people do still have sex, right? Like, or do they just plug a chip in to experience each other?
Well, David and
Demolition Man.
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah.
Because you don't see Lucy and David actually fucking, or unless I'm forgetting that they did.
They bone.
Okay.
You don't.
Yeah, in the last
you don't
end of the
see
last
it,
episode.
I thought it was like they plugged a chip in, but it's been a hot minute since I recapped that episode. So, yeah, I just wanted to double
No,
check
I think
that.
again that's why the BDs are so popular. It's far more extreme. I mean, yeah, you'll have porn BDs where it's like I'm surrounded by 8,000 breasts. Okay, let me in. Let's go. But
oh, that's very.
I mean, from an
specific.
economic standpoint, it's a hell of a lot cheaper to do it in meat space than it is in a BD.
I like how David has a shiny collar now, like Maine.
Yeah, for some reason had a wicked jacket.
Okay. Welcome to Diabolical Souls, everyone.
The racism is bleeding over from MMM.
So this scene right here is like they're going over the plan, and like the first part of the plan is to get their hands on JK Jimmy Kurosaki, who is affiliated with Tanaka because he sells them the XBDs, and try to use them for their cause to Tanaka. So what they want to do here is plan a kidnap from the parking lot. So this is what's happening right here, but in a nutshell. And so we're seeing the whole crew together. Then we get to the part where they start talking about they're in the parking lot, and you see
they
Dorio.
recognize that to try and make a run at his studio, that ain't happening. But he is going to this event, and so maybe we can snag him on the way out.
And so here's JK Jimmy Kurosaki, and then we see David approach him like he's a fan. Like he drives by him and acts casual.
He kind of is a fan,
Well, yeah, he is actually. Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
He is a fan.
I know.
And then he just kind of plays it off and says, "Hey, aren't you JK?" and shows some interest in JK, and it starts a conversation with him, kind of a distraction. So as we see here, the conversation between the two of them, he's just kind of buying time, and he wants to shake his hand. JK is kind of like wanting to leave, and all of a sudden,
Dave Navarro vibes off this guy.
Dave Navarro. Oh my god, I forgot that guy existed.
You lucky bastard.
Yeah.
Dave Navarro.
I don't know who that is.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
You baby.
Yeah.
He's a musician.
He was with Carmen Electra for
He was the host of Ink Master, the tattoo show.
Is that
I
the
think
guy
he
from
still
James
is.
Addiction?
Which is a good show.
I
Wait,
do
is
like
that-
that show.
Okay.
Is that the guitar player from James Addiction?
Yeah, he's
Yes.
played. Yeah, he also played for the Chili Peppers for a little while.
Okay. Yeah, I
Oh,
can
okay.
see it.
He played on
Did he
Alanis
play on
Morissette's Jagged Little Pill.
Californication or?
That's Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, well, he did play with the Chili Peppers for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he might have
okay.
actually played on Californication.
Am I coming through clear? Or am I still reverbing here?
You're
minor
coming through in any
reverb.
hear
reverb.
you
We
fine.
all are kind of getting it, I think.
Yeah, we're all.
It just
Think it
kinda
might be
keeps
me?
sounding-
I just feel like that's impossible because I have earbuds in.
Oh, it's probably the earbuds. The
Yeah, there's a
earbuds
little
do tend.
microphone on them, maybe.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They don't have a mic though. These
Oh.
are studio earbuds.
Hang on. Stand by. Let me check.
It's
My
Hostman.
earbuds say they're connected to mic and auto. That makes sense.
Ah, it's
Uh,
you.
Oh, let's kill him.
I can rectify this. Stand by. I'm going radio silent for the moment.
Send
Yeah,
him
I was
to
thinking the only way it
Detroit.
could have been me is maybe I have the volume up too high, but I would have to have like my ears like right up against.
Right.
It's gone. Like we don't have the reverb anymore.
Nah,
it was
I heard
him.
it a bit.
Is it still there?
Now it's
I don't
Zach's
hear it.
fault with his headset.
No, it can't be. Hold on. How about now?
You're just stalling for time.
Yeah.
It's an extra $5, Zach.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Dave Navarro is the guy who claims Slash stole his wah pedal technique while using a Slash wah pedal. Yeah, that's right.
Dude, if Slash
Yeah.
copied my guitar playing, I would be ecstatic.
Yeah.
That's so fucking cool,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They took, to be honest, like they all took from Eddie Van Halen. Let's just call it for what it is.
Yeah.
Eddie Van Halen got it from whoever taught him. So
But
Yeah.
wouldn't it? I mean, what about the guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne that put him on the map, basically?
Tony
Yeah.
Iommi.
Oh,
No, the
No,
guy
no,
that-
no.
the guy
Died.
get crazy train and died in the car.
Yeah.
Plane crash.
Yeah, dude,
God,
he
what's
was a
his
name?
fucking
Pucks.
Randy
star.
Rhodes. Randy Rhodes.
Yeah, Randy
Thank
Rhodes.
you.
Yeah,
Randy
who's,
Rhodes.
who
That
Right.
man
Insane.
could rip.
who started with Quiet Riot. He was
Yeah.
was the
Yes.
original member from Quiet Riot.
That
He could
that
rip and he
actually
didn't
almost
even
broke
have
up the
all his
band
fingers.
when
Yeah.
he left.
Yeah.
Because what's the bassist name? He left Quiet Riot after that and played with Black Sabbath after.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could talk metal all day. Gooch be like Daughtry is my hero. No, I am definitely not interested in Daughtry. Oh, there's my brother. What's going on, little man?
The color has come. I am here.
The
We are
color,
ready
some
to
shade.
harvest the wheat.
Yeah.
the color has come. I get it.
Oh man. The entire credit score of the stream has just gone down.
Yeah.
I was gonna drop an N-word bomb as soon as I came in, which I looked up and I'm allowed to say on YouTube because I am black. But
Are you serious?
yeah,
Is that really?
You actually checked into that? You actually
Yeah.
did?
He's gonna say it, and then
Yeah.
and all the Canadians on the panel will just immediately get cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck me, man.
Yeah. Although we
An
did
email
bring up
from YouTube.
Saskatchewan last night, so that saves us. Jamma, thanks for popping in, brother. I did a shout out to you earlier. I appreciate you being a loyal viewer. You and Eraserhead. It's
You gotta be like an Oprah Winfrey, so like people that've been with you be like, now you get a brand new car. For being a long-time subscriber.
Funny to do that.
Bagface, how you doing, brother?
oh, I'm good, buddy. I had a nice gym session, and then
Nice.
did some work. Came here. Sorry, I'm late.
Well,
You guys are the
No,
best.
you don't. No, you don't have to apologize, dude. You know
Yeah.
that. So
Oh yes, he does. He was
No, he
working
doesn't.
out.
I only
Bagface and I go
apologize to
back.
Hostman
yeah.
because I know he misses me the most.
yeah. Or just for just random occasions.
He's radio
I'll just
silent
text
right
him and
now.
be like, I'm sorry, dude.
Sorry,
I'm
I'm screwing around with my settings because my earbuds are connected to my microphone and I don't know how to disconnect them so it doesn't reverb.
Yeah, don't apologize to him. Shame him.
Put your thumb
Yeah.
on the hole.
So Bagface, episode 5. You ready to do this? You ready to jump in?
Oh, I'm
man?
so ready. How deep are we?
Yeah. Whoa.
They're just trying to. Hey, all right. If you got to ask, it ain't deep enough, baby. But
we've moved past the blue nipples.
Yeah, we just got past
okay.
blue nipples.
We're right at the part where they were trying to do the first snatch and grab on JK.
Yeah, we're still pre-insertion.
Okay. Kiwi's blue nipples sounds like an awesome weed strand, by the way.
It does.
Oh, dude, that sounds like the kind that will fuck you up too.
Yesterday, I didn't even know about blue nipples, and now I want some.
Okay, I tell you, smash and grab stores are always like a soft spot for me when it comes to like comic book storytelling, because you can have a lot of fun doing smash and grab stories.
I was about to say, we're going to learn about your history and crime.
Yeah, so we're doing the snatch and grab here on JK and Jimmy Kurosaki. So main's trying to sneak up, and then all of a sudden, JK has this little device that he does like a EMP.
Well, first he has an eye in the back of his head.
Yeah.
He has multiple eyes in the back of his head.
Yeah, but not right now.
He has that the device that you have for when you're backing up and with your vehicle.
Yeah, his reverse camera is working excellent.
Yeah, his reverse camera. And he throws off an EMP, and it just screws up everybody, like especially Maine because he's so close.
Well, and everybody but really David, because David's the least chromed up of the group. I mean, even the people in the car are wincing.
Yeah. And the only person that didn't get it was Lucy. And so I love how Doriel tries to wake him up. She just like punches him and just like.
We got a bit of that last episode too. They're like trying to get intimate, and she just like fucking punches him in the face first. Yeah. It's like, oh, that'll get him going.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not impossible to get someone going that way.
If you're going to have a default reaction, punching is a tactic, and as long as you can throw it well enough, it's a good tactic.
Hey, what's up, Tim? Thanks for joining us, brother.
Relationships can get stale. Gotta spice it up.
Exactly.
Oh dear.
Well, Nosferatu JK has a butthole in the back of his head, and his cyber grape whistle activates.
Yeah.
So like we're getting to this part, and then they start asking where David is, and David's been taken by JK. Doriel starts directing everyone to start looking for David. Doriel and Lucy start tracking David because there's a tracking device. If I can play this for 2 seconds, it kind of bleeps there. That red light goes off, and so they were what, like 1 kilometer behind them, he said, or 1 mile behind them.
Yeah.
And
mile unchanged straight ahead.
Yeah. And so you're starting to see Lucy get pretty pissed off that JK took David, and she's letting out her frustrations out here. And Doriel's starting to sense like a difference with Lucy. Sex changes everything.
Wait a minute, because like emotional, am I right?
Well, no, they had sex in the last episode, and now there's kind of that emotional bump because Lucy is like a very guarded female, especially like in this environment. I can imagine like you have to keep your walls up constantly, and so for her to lower walls to the point where she's opening herself up to someone, and I mean that literally. Too. She's going to be emotionally attached to that person, just like David is to her. So, because they're still young. And we never really got an age on Lucy. I'm going to assume she's maybe 1 or 2 years older than David. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, she's got a lot more like street smart experience and has at least had enough time to build up a lot of emotional, protective measures. Whereas David is still naive. But yeah, in this one it's less her moon pieing or whatever, and she goes right into somebody getting killed. There's a concentration and anger that she's having.
Yeah.
I did think her being this angry this quick did feel a little bit forced. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding the character a bit, but it's just the one emotion in this series so far that just felt like she was faking it. Or just too mad for no reason.
I didn't get
like,
that.
I think that I mean if what you thought was just booty call and then suddenly I'm running around moon pieing or whatever, but the throughout even when she betrays him the first time, you can tell that bothers her a little bit that she's doing that, because again, this guy is naive, that he wasn't playing a game with her, and so all's fair, right? And so, like, the episode before where she's explaining that, look, I know you'd be mad and all that stuff, but I wasn't lying to you about you being the first one that he, she took to the VR moon thing. It's important for her to convey that. So she's already got a connection to him prior to that. And so now in this case, for her to become even more protective makes sense.
Yeah, she knows he's a bit naive and innocent, and he's not like, he doesn't have an ulterior motive, so she sees him kind of like innocent, and I guess now has like the responsibility to protect him in some sense.
Right, because she's the more mature, more experienced person, right? She's more worldly, and so she kind of looks on him as I mean, there's a I don't want to be creepy, but there's a bit of mothering in there because she wants to kind of protect him from the world that they're in, but also then has the romantic connection as well. So that's a double down.
That makes sense.
Which is kind of turned on its head in the next episode because David chromes up and starts to look a little bit like Maine, and Lucy becomes more withdrawn.
Hey, spoilers! Again. Hey, spoilers! Come on now.
Yeah.
Sorry,
but I do feel like she should be more scared than mad. But I mean,
I think she is.
I think that's why she's mad.
Yeah.
So she's not allowed to let herself feel scared. She just becomes mad as like
right, because that would be weakness that people could see.
Okay. Yeah. I'll concede my criticism.
What's up, Jacob? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, that's
people wouldn't
that's
perceive
the feeling
anger
I get
as a weakness, but they would perceive fear as a weakness in this kind of world.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this world is like, well, it's Dark City. Like it's like everywhere you turn, there's someone trying to take advantage of you. So I mean, there's trap houses. There's like people doing fleshlight things in the streets. There's like
blatantly
to get a connection off of somebody. Like once you found that, like you're not going to want to let that go because of the world you're in.
I think the beautiful thing, and I mean, I can talk about this because I work with at-risk youth. So I mean, like most of the kids are sexually active, and it's not by choice.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're forced out in the streets to bring in money or and for drugs or for whatever, or family. Like it's disgusting, right? So I mean, it's really rare to see someone from that kind of environment have these kind of morals and protect their body and their values. And so that's what's so great about Lucy. She's a well-guarded, like she experienced something traumatic in the past, so she's guarding herself. That's the way I look at it. And so for her to open up like Nos and like Emperor Jay said, like it has to be something really special and honest about that person. That's so.
Yeah, she has to be, in order to maintain a certain safe emotional distance, she has to distance herself from the world and the people in it, which is why she doesn't overreact when people do stupid things or whatever. She, it's just like whatever, right? It's that I joke, it's that 90s ironic, sarcastic, I'm too cool to actually care about anything kind of attitude. But when she runs into someone who's actually genuine, that no matter how cool kid you want to be, there's a certain attraction to that honesty, which David kind of represents.
Yeah. So great. I'm glad you brought that up there, Amateur. because I love hearing. Like, what are your thoughts, Bagface, when you're watching this?
No, I feel like everyone kind of nailed it. Like, it's her vulnerabilities that are making her afraid, and like angry that she's vulnerable and feeling fear and feeling connection to David. And it's, I don't know. I like how multi-layered it is, and it like informs you of the world and also the characters and their relationships, where they're at, and all that stuff.
Yeah, because to care for someone or something is necessarily brings with it a component of weakness. Right?
Yeah,
Because that's a thing that can be used against you.
Exactly.
Zack Snyder needs to watch this fucking show.
Zack Snyder would just see pictures. He would forget as soon as the transition happened in next scene what happened before because he's a fucking goldfish.
Zack Snyder. No one's explained their backstory.
It wouldn't matter anyway. He would just assemble words in random order that sound vaguely human-like.
I stuck a book in the blender.
Like
Snyder can't even keep track of his own movies. You expect him to keep track of.
That's why I said he's a goldfish. By the time he's finished the scene, he's forgot whatever happened. He's starting a new scene like tabula rasa.
So like I'm about to say it's like something kind of gay where like when I was young, I would watch like shows and all this kind of stuff, and whenever I see a female character, an emotional state like that, like going after a man, I'd be like, damn, that'd be cool if like they would do that, like if I was in a relationship when I get older, like if that's how I would want them to be, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah,
gay?
Find yourself a woman that gets mad at you, like she gets mad at David.
She's not mad at you. She don't care about you.
Exactly.
Well,
I'm not mad, honey. I'm just disappointed.
It's not bad.
Yeah, again, those are the people you run from. What you want is someone that fucking yells because they were scared that you were doing something stupid.
Yep.
Yep.
Y'all got some therapy bills you need to start working.
No, that's why we started YouTube channels, man.
This is why we stream.
Wait, this
Backface,
isn't
how
group?
do you cry for help?
Yeah, I thought this was group. Oh, I have been misinformed. I'm terribly sorry.
Yeah, I thought this was group too.
This is the wrong appointment. I need to check my schedule again.
I deal with it properly, like everyone should, with drugs.
No, and vigorous masturbation.
Well, yeah, that comes.
Yeah, I mean that goes.
Yeah,
that's right,
obvious.
kids.
Yeah, that's
Say
like breathing.
perhaps drugs.
Drugs are bad unless you're depressed.
Yeah,
and they're great.
Unless you have a script, in which case they're great. Apparently.
That's fucking great.
Thank you, YouTube, for watching this. I'm very,
I'll be right
for
back.
your
I just have to
community right
call my
here.
lawyer for a second.
And I can't believe Sammy said all of that. That was terrible.
I know.
Shut up, man.
First the Rebecca thing last week. Now this. Jesus.
I gotta go into hiding again.
Well, you are 8 Mile, so I mean, like, it's called for what it is. Drugs and bed, okay. So yeah, we get to this shot here where David starts to wake up, and he's in a room with a bunch of dead bodies, and he starts to freak out. He's thinking he's literally in the room. And he's starting to hear voices, and it's the cyber Dark
Popo
City
coming.
Yeah, Dark City cops.
Yeah, we've all been here.
Oh, I actually.
Yeah, I was like, what a rookie
this.
to panic because he just wakes up in a room full of dead bodies.
Has
First
one-
time.
Yeah.
I rewound this the first time because I was like, "Whoa, what I missed."
Well, I love the artwork done here. Like it's really gritty, really dark. You get the vibe. It's like a scene from Saw or something. It's really well done. Like you want to play a game.
Yeah.
So David's like listening to the voices. He's starting to panic. He looks down and he sees that he has a gun with blood all over it, and he starts to panic. He's wanting to get out of there. The flashlight shines on him. He starts to fire shots at them, and at this point, like the way he's firing the shots, he's like shocked that he's shooting them, and like the way they get shot, it's like precise accuracy. Like they're getting shot right in the forehead and falling over, and he's kind of like, what? Like,
So So I
Yeah,
think
so David's
initially,
made no expert in being a marksman. He's shy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but I think that initially, because I think it's only just like maybe a few more seconds after this that I ginned on to what was going on. But
yeah, me too.
At this moment, I thought it was the Sandevastan that was kicking in and kind of going in defense mode, and detect threat, and then it was kind of acting, and he was along for the ride because the Chrome was making the decisions,
or like an idle hand situation.
Yeah.
See, I didn't think that because I didn't think that because it usually shows that the spine kind of like reverberate all that like
whenever he's using it.
Yeah,
so,
and so like
if it was on its own, maybe
So I thought this is like, okay, this is a stretch, that this is just a coincidence that he can just all of a sudden start firing off, and then I'm like, wait a second, like what is going on here? Is like because like all of a sudden you start piecing together, who did he get kidnapped by? It was JK. So then I started you start watching this a little bit more, and you're all of a sudden you're taken into the James Norris scene.
Right. But the other thing, so as soon as he steps out of that room, was when I started going, wait a minute, I think I know what's going on. But and then on rewatch, the palette in that room, and then kind of as he goes, it's different than how they color reality. When you if you go back and like compare these scenes with times that he's actually doing stuff, there's a subtle difference in kind of a wash on the color palette.
Yeah, like they're showing you that this is a memory, sort of.
Yeah,
subtly.
it's like it's through gauze a bit.
Yeah. I love the whole idea of this sequence too. Like he's almost mocking him. Like on one hand, like we as the audience are sort of put in the dark trying to figure out what's going on, like, oh, is this his first kill or whatever, and then but like to the character, JK sort of like dangling this potential future in front of him, and it's like, this is going to be you,
right. And it's a double bonus that so David's already seen this because he watched that XPD from JK before when the guy went cyber psycho, and he has that guy's Chrome.
Yeah, it's the first moment of the show too.
Right.
I like that you mentioned, like you said, Gauze, but the veil look, like he's looking through the veil and experiencing all this. So yeah, David's trying to escape this situation. Like he's firing off bullets, like he has no idea. It almost looks like he doesn't know what he can't control. It's like someone's controlling him.
Right.
Okay, can someone help me out here? Gosh. This shot here where
it's so creepy. I've had.
Sorry, this shot where he's unloading on this cop, and like you just get the reaction, you don't see the gun. This is from something, and I can't figure out what it is. It's like a definite nod. If Enzo was here, you would know immediately, but
yeah.
I feel like they're nodding to something there. I just can't think.
American
of what it
Psycho?
Maybe.
Where he's in the streets?
Yeah, doesn't he do that in the streets?
Yeah, he just fires off.
Yeah, he does.
Or he just bumps into someone and immediately drops him.
Could be.
I do like how the cop has the Captain Kangaroo haircut.
Yeah.
Mr. Green Jeans is going to be pissed.
I just love the expressions and the artwork in this. Like it's like brilliant. The tones, everything about it, the rendering, the light.
Yeah, look at the bags under David's eyes.
Yeah. Even the camera angles are just fantastic. I like BAGFACE. Like I kind of you and Amateur are really good at like talking about camera angle shots and everything. Like you obviously have experience doing this stuff. Like, what are your thoughts when they like some of these action shots in the show when they like the looks?
I bet you they have like some of the best storyboarding work for this, because there's just so much like I'm not gonna call it setup and payoff, but like there's so many visual little tricks where, like, for instance, the GPS tracker, they don't just say, oh, we put a GPS tracker in them. No, they have this little red light flashing, and we know what it means. They don't have to tell us. Or like,
right, it would actually be stupid if they told each other, because they both know it's there.
But like another example would be, when the oh my god, I can't think of what the Chrome's called. His spinal, whatever it's called. Sandevastan. Yes. Every time it activates. You get a little shot of, it flickering behind him, which is super neat.
His nerve pathways light up and
yeah, like I know anime does that a lot. I'm not a huge anime watcher, but like those weird little visual beats that they give you to set up like what's happening in the scene. It's done here like really, really well. And just the economy of animation is nuts. Like if it doesn't have to be animated, they don't. But if it does have to be animated, they go 11 out of 10 on it. Like look at all the lines and shadows on this guy's face. Like they didn't have to.
See, I told him not to look into the Ark when the Nazis opened it, but he did.
That's just a haunting face right there. And like what happens in the scene that's just following this is probably one of my favorite surreal horror moments that I've ever seen in a non-horror movie or TV show. Like this is just great. They're very effective. It's a very effective expression.
Yeah, we go from this Raiders of the Lost Ark / it kind of actually reminded me of for God's sakes, the Twilight Zone movie with the gremlin when he opens up the window and it's looking and like the eyes bulge or whatever. But the next scene is very RoboCop.
Well, Bagface, I asked you about the camera angles and like how much do you either appreciate or question some of the angles and the looks that they use in this show?
Oh, they're all really good. I don't know. It just melts my brain because thinking of camera angles when there's just people and a camera is hard enough. But then like thinking of them when nothing exists, you have to like draw it. It's something else. But yeah, no, I like even these shots right here, like just a nice over the shoulder. It's just classic. They use a lot of classic stuff. It's just really good. Also, the lighting on this is really interesting because like if you go back to the shot of David, he's got like he's getting side light, kind of like me. He's like hitting it from the side. And this guy is like underneath, like the lighting is coming from underneath, which doesn't make any sense because they're in the same scene, but it doesn't have to because it gets across the emotion so well. Like I love that they break rules essentially like that, like within shots themselves.
Well, they call that secondary light or reflective light. So if the light is coming from is pointing at David, like over this guy's, and I'm pointing over his shoulder, over his shoulder, it's gonna bounce off and kind of reflect onto the cop.
Yeah, it actually has to be over him because the bill of the hat is shading half of his eyes. But
see, like the other thing when you look at the light of David, it doesn't make any sense directionally, but it works for the scene.
Yeah. The other thing is that shot, the one just before this is every other kill he's done has been at distance. This is up close and personal. So you get just a bit of David, but you see all of the face of the guy you just shot and watching him die.
I also love the use of depth of field, like blurring parts of the background out. Like it's something you would take for granted because in live action, it's just something that happens based on lens selection. But if it's animated, someone made a conscious decision to blur out this expertly animated or hand-drawn background to enhance the shot, which is just, it's something that we haven't really seen that much of in the past, but it's something that seems to be happening more and more now. Like Arcane is something I noticed right away. It's like they're filming this like it's live action.
Yeah,
like, there's like a living, breathing camera inside of the show. That's insane. I've never seen that in animation.
Yeah, we had a conversation about that from the last episode where you had people in the foreground were in focus, and then it's like the lens puller focuses on the back, and the people in the front go blurry. And we talked about like the technical, how you implement that and how it used to be done, like with Disney in the 40s and 50s, and then it went away and everything kind of got flat again.
Yeah. Well, they had that big ass table with like 10 layers where
they had the multifocal camera, right?
Well, Snyder did that in Rebel Moon Part 2.
I was gonna say
Snyder had nothing in focus, so it was a lot easier.
I was gonna say very quickly, lighting is a bitch to learn. It is a hard thing to apply. I mean, it's still a struggle for me. Like, because when I draw my comic pages and stuff, having to figure out where the light is coming from in the direction and having to cast that shadow applying that is just very difficult. I still practice it, and when I see shows like this that gets lighting like that, I'm like, I get a kick out of it. Like you guys were talking about, it's just like when it's done right and you know it, you feel it, you love the scene even more, and you'll remember it.
And the show almost elevates that in a way, because like it proves to you that it understands lighting perfectly well, but then it breaks the rules to bring
for
something
maximum
across.
Dramatic impact.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like ascended past knowing the rules and can now break them because they understand the rules so well.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing about. So, well, like I was around when we first started getting serious 3D software on the desktop and doing ray tracing and all that. And one of the things that, like the original stuff, had no real concept of a camera lens in the idea. You could set depth of field and all that. And in reality, we don't have this kind of visual. I'm looking at someone and everything behind them is blurry. It's just that we don't focus on them because our eyes are it's real easy for us to go infinite focus, right? Yeah. But the visual language of film has taught us how movie cameras work. And so the ability to be able to, it's why a lot of CG shots, you just immediately go, this is bullshit, because you've got things spinning and twisting in a way that you physically could not manipulate a camera, right? And so the tools of making film have imbued their own language into the medium. This kind of animation is taking that understanding of how cameras work in the real world and applying it to animation to make that animation more, not realistic to a degree, but again, more compatible with the language of film.
Yeah. Watch Gooch go back a few frames. Not quite. Not quite. Right there. So one thing I noticed with this shot is this one acts as kind of a jump scare, because first we're focusing on David's face in the shot right here, and then it kind of pans towards the cop, but the main focus is still on David's face, and then it cuts kind of to the back of his head, and then we hear the cop shout again, put that gun down, or whatever he says, and then Dave turns around and his eyes are all blurry like a cyber psycho, so it's kind of a shocking thing to see. It's kind of a well-done little cinematic jump scare.
Yeah, and then going back to where we were, the frame where he's revealing that he has mantis blades. Just going back to the other point about like storyboarding and just like the little tricks of animation. Yeah, right there. That sparkle. This is something that animation,
the lens flare
anime does all the time.
Yeah,
that sparkle they put on the tip of the blade. They're just like it's a very chaotic scene, and they're just drawing your attention to this very important piece of information that you might miss without it. It's just like, hey, look at here. This is where your eye needs to be.
Well, and again, this is so the only reason that your eyes would have these kinds of flares in it is if your cataracts are getting bad, right? Yeah. So again, from a camera standpoint, we know that cameras in film, that lenses have these artifacts that show up, and so them putting this in here is again referencing the language of a real movie camera.
Someone should tell Zack Snyder how lens flares should work.
Oh, you just turn them all on. You just everything has specular highlights and lens flare. Yeah.
Dude, you get a lens flare. You get a lens flare. Everyone gets a lens flare.
There's a shot in Rebel Moon where you can see the blue screen bleeding onto the actors, and the keyed out background is out of focus, and it's on screen for like 5 solid seconds. And I'm like sitting there watching this. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Every clip of Rebel Moon Part 2 that I've seen has made me think that my cataracts came back after having them removed a couple of years ago. It was like,
crazy,
what the hell is this? This is just, nothing's in focus. Everything has glare and flare, and it's a mess.
It's like VR in a nutshell.
Nah, Snyder just uses cracked lenses.
He's got a cracked head.
No, he's got the video co-pilot fucking stock library, and he just clicks and drags them onto his fucking films. That's what he does.
Getting back to this, with you guys mentioned it a couple times, like the lighting is like the cheating and everything. It's done a lot in comic books, and even in some of the anime. but it works. They tend to cheat a lot with like using shadows and different lighting sources.
They always have a damn good reason for using it, though, especially in this show, because it's like we're revealing this thing that should tell you, or at least hint at what's actually happening in the scene. This is like a reveal. Look,
yeah, that's
here,
the benefit of animation, is that you're not constrained by reality. You can like overemphasize how reality would work, right? You make it kind of a caricature of itself in order to tell the story. So like the scene where he has the mantis blade out and is getting ready to stab, everything your eye says is that flashlight is like, at about chest level. But if you look at the angle of the shadows, that light has to be like low and to the left in order for to see, because the shadow for the cop is only displaced a bit.
Yeah.
But look back, to everything else, and it's way up and off.
Mm-hmm.
So it tells you the direction of the light does not match the flashlight, but it doesn't have to, because again, it's telling a visual story.
Yeah, it's elevating the drama of the scene, trying to make it look more sinister than it is.
Yeah.
Which I'm totally on board with.
Yes.
Yeah. Can't get away with this in live action because it looks goofy as hell, but
you can't do it in live action because reality intrudes.
Mm-hmm.
You can, but it looks ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because again, reality will give it away with all the other things that are happening, right? You can't just magically make the shadows work and everything else. There's no other light.
Yeah.
Nope.
So this is like David,
that's
like
so
going.
Creepy.
Yes, it's beautiful. This is like the James Norris experience, where he's getting shot by the.
This is the RoboCop where he's getting appendages blown off.
Yeah, and he's growing. Yeah, the Max Tech. Yeah, or Tac. Yes, and yeah, this part where he says you're a fucking monster, and this is a great shot right here.
Like, I love the tiny pupils, man. That's such a nice touch.
Yes.
Yeah. It's great. And then we glitch out, and then you obviously that he's like been.
Did he feel that? Like, did he feel that?
Shout out to the game. That's what happens when you die.
Yeah, with the cyber dancing, you can feel, you can smell, you can sense everything, and some of them, not all of them, depending on which ones you're using. That's why sex, who you mentioned earlier, the XB, like I think they're XBDs, where you're having that sexual experience without actually having sex, but you're getting all the pleasure and everything for it. And then this part right here where we get like Jimmy talking about the XBDs and how everyone has their own take, like gore and sex and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of people like the gore stuff, like death.
Yeah, and the other thing is they've already set up because when they were talking about Tanaka, that when you go to JK and get a custom job, then the safeties can be removed. That there are limits to just I plug it into a stock player. There are safeties in place to keep you from having too much physical interaction with it, so you may feel pain, but not to a level that will cause you to really suffer anything. But because you're with JK and he set it up, he has tuned this to David, so David is feeling all of it, to include being killed.
Yeah, because he's trying to
drive him cyber psycho.
Yeah, it's a bit of
what's up, Jana? Sure.
Because he's actually inducing. He's actually inducing the
cyber psychosis.
The cyber psychosis. He's making his chrome like trigger because of the trauma that he's experiencing and whatnot. But it's almost like he's mocking him, because it's like, this is your future, bitch. Like, have fun.
Yeah, and using the experience of the last owner of that chrome is just doubly devious on his part, right?
Yeah, because this guy's essentially a sadist, because he gets off on pain, because it's like that's his whole business. So it totally makes sense.
I think he's like a drug pusher where he has no respect for his clients.
Yeah, he's got no respect for his clients, and he has no empathy for the fucking suffering that he's monetizing.
Right, because they
makes
made
me
their
say this.
choice, right? They make their choice to chrome up, right? So,
Yeah.
so the cyber psychos have chosen, again, they've chosen their addiction, and his clients have chosen their addiction, and he is kind of separate from both of those worlds.
The vibe I get from this, and I don't know how many of you've watched it with James Gandolfini in 8mm. That's like it's very similar vibe where he's taking these. Oh, it's
I gotta watch it.
Nicolas
what's it called?
Cage, 8mm. Nicolas Cage, Joaquin Phoenix, James Gandolfini.
How the fuck have I not seen this?
It did not do especially well in the theaters. It's a pretty disturbing. It's very similar to a George C. Scott movie that was made in like the 70s.
Yeah, well, it came out in 1999, so it had quite a bit of competition.
It's
1999 is a banger year for films.
Yeah,
It's like almost all my favorite movies came out in '99.
It's based on snuff films, to put it lightly. And
what's it called?
8mm.
It makes your stomach turn. It is really tough to watch.
Is it like a Serbian film?
No, it's Hollywood.
No, it's
not
not
on
like
that level.
It is kind
No,
of
but
disturbing.
if you're not a sociopath, you will have some empathy, and it will make you uncomfortable.
Joel Schumacher.
See, and
yeah, like
Didn't Joel
after
Schumacher
after I'm done
direct for
masturbating, it's a
Sesame
real hard
Street
watch.
back in the
It
day?
is.
You get that post nut regret, and you're like, should I turn it off?
Now I got to see the ending. Okay. And then there's some
Definitely gonna have to
shrinkage, and you were also 8mm. That's the problem.
I can't run for prime minister now.
Wow.
But that's like you know what I'm talking about there, Goodwin. Like like that he has that kind of vibe to him where he's taking everyone's really dark pleasures and benefiting off of it.
Right. Again, it's these are the differences that in 8mm the people in the films aren't choosing this, right? Where he's JK's actually in a more interesting moral situation to begin with, but he's like, okay, so these chrome addicts, they're going to do what they do anyway, right? And these clients, they're going to find XPDs one way or the other. I'm going to simply take economic advantage of these two populations of sick people, and just be the best to make the money. But I have zero shits to give about either side because they're both morally reprehensible.
So it is a fascinating moral conundrum there. I mean, not as much of a conundrum as it's like how bad is he actually,
Yeah, and especially in this city, right? The clean life just isn't possible.
Yeah, which is basically the theme of the whole cyberpunk endeavor.
Right. And so what he's done is he's become very good at kind of playing these two dysfunctional populations off of each other, and he makes money, but he has no respect for either side.
Yeah, and then he starts talking about how David. I think it's amazing that David can survive using the cyberware that it's on him, the Sandavestin. And he's kind of amazed, and then he starts talking about how James Norris was wearing it originally, and then a lot of people are like seeking this out, and then he starts talking about Max Tech here, and David's kind of getting more and more frustrated with this, and calling out JK and his sick mind.
Dude, the dialogue, he's like, "Oh, I thought you were a fan."
Right.
Yeah.
Again, the disgust that he has for everybody. But also the other thing is, when I first saw JK, I was like, he's dressed like a pimp. And the more that you get into it, that kind of is what he is.
Yeah. Wait, are his pupils the Gemini symbol? No.
He's like a better version of one of the main characters' pimps in Hazbin Hotel. Like,
could there be worse characters than what's in Hazbin Hotel?
Yes.
Fair enough.
He's animated very similar to Dracula in Castlevania. Like he's got this very
It's effeminate and flamboyant at the same time.
Yeah.
And predatory.
Right.
I never thought that, you know, and anime does it really fucking well. I never thought that flamboyant villains can be the most intimidating.
Have y'all ever seen the
like they
Thief
just
and
scared
the Cobbler?
No.
The what?
Oh, it's a great little animation movie.
I'm gonna watch it then.
I can't remember who made it. I think it was like Miramax or something as the studio, but there's the villain in it.
Oh
named
yeah, I know
Zigzag.
exactly what you're talking
He
about.
reminds me of that quite a bit. That's a
Yeah, the
great fucking
Jafar
movie.
looking.
Yeah, Zigzag, I think was his name.
Yep.
With fucking creepy beard and long slippers or whatever.
Crazy arms.
Yeah, there's also a bit of like Joker, animated Joker in some of his movements, right? That he isn't physically intimidating.
Oh, the walk.
No, but I mean, but even look at his teeth. He
Right.
has like heightened incisors.
Yeah.
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 I don't know if any of you guys watched Hunter x Hunter.
Nope.
Haven't
if you
started
haven't,
it yet. No.
It's fantastic. But there's a character in there. He's he's not a full villain, but he's the antagonist. But he's kind of got a clown look to him. Well, not full clown, but he's got characteristics of a clown, but he looks and acts very similar to Jimmy Kurosaki here. He's very casual about everything, very precise, and has everything laid out. He has backup plan upon backup plan. He never panics, and very, very hard to defeat. He's quite the character. I recommend watching Hunter x Hunter. It's actually a really good show.
Yeah, there's also some physical similarities in movement, not so much in speech or even like, you know, intellectual deviousness, but there's some similarities between this guy and then Doc.
Yeah. Yeah, it will him laughing right there.
Yeah,
Doc does that,
and is kind of plenty of times that his hands. I mean, they're like pianist type hands more than you know, brute type. You know, I'm going to knock you out. I don't have to knock you out. I'm going to be more clever than you.
Yeah, well, he's a cyber hacker, right?
Right.
I mean, you also gotta love the fucking villains do it like written well. I love it when they fucking reveal their master plan. And he does it so well in this scene. Like, this is how I'm gonna fucking break your mind. As he's torturing him.
I wouldn't even say it's a master plan. I think it's just such a nihilist take on the world. It's just like this is just how he's gonna operate. Like we talk about, he plays both sides against each other. Like he doesn't really give a shit. So I mean, in his mind, he's the only real person in this line that he walks.
Yes.
So narrowly. So, you know,
that's always the more interesting thing to me with cleverly written villains, is that nobody in their inner monologue believes that they're the bad guy. Right. And so when you get a well-written villain and they explain to you why they're actually, you know, at least the smart guy or the good guy because of these situations, right? It really gives you a glimpse. If that psyche is explained correctly, all of their behaviors become understandable, right?
Well, but I don't know if that's what's going on here. And I mean, to an extent, but I was like, I just don't think he cares either way. So
I think
I
don't think he cares about the people. That's also part of his. Again, it explains his mindset, right? And that he's. I would say that he is probably thus far in this world the most honest person that we've encountered.
Yes, absolutely. But it was like, he doesn't care either way what you think of him, or, you know, because this is such a crazy world. I mean, what we define as good or bad, it would be so skewed.
And you've already taken, and he's looking at David going, well, you've already taken, you know, the serious step towards cyberpsychosis.
Yeah.
And
let's
oh, by the way, you've also consumed my product. Well, then, I mean, you're in the game. Welcome to it, right?
Yeah.
Nihilism, man. It's a hell of a drug. Boosh has a dead right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is where Dorio and Lucy come in, and like, look how casual he is, right? Like he's just like, oh, you got me. And David's like going into cyber psycho state here, like he's just going through.
He's having the XBD run on him again.
Yeah,
he tells him he thinks after 3 he'll break him.
Yeah. And well, even before he had this conversation, he was kind of wondering how many times it was going to take for David to break, because he's amazed.
Like, I think 3 will do.
He talks about James Norris, and he's a military expert, and he didn't like. It took him a while to break, and
he was like he was like a known chrome junkie too, so he had quite a tolerance to this shit, and it's still
he's got all of the mental and physical training. He should have all the advantages, but David is like, but I'm different. Which is exactly what addicts would say anyway. No, it's not going to be me. I'm different, right? And so to JK, he's just like, yeah, okay, oh, you're the special one, okay.
So
hit me up with another line, man. I'm different. Your nose is bleeding. I can take another one. Damn
it's
it.
Fine.
I love that smug look on his face when he has like a revolver pointed at the top of his head. His levels of not giving a shit are off the charts.
Well, he's relaxed because he knows the situation. He's like, I know what you're trying to do because of the Tanaka thing. You have to have me alive. And oh, by the way, I do have some backup plans that I haven't quite revealed yet. So he just kind of goes along, right?
It's just, even if you had a plan and you were like a normal fucking empathetic human being, you would still be shitting yourself with some like meathead fucking pointing a gun at the top of your head. Like, come on.
Oh, he's smiling. Look at him. He's smiling.
He's just
right. He believes he's still ahead of the game, right? That much like when, they're going to get me, and you've got Maine coming up from behind him, and then it's like, no, you're not. Ha ha ha.
And his nose piece is like this horse skull /
It's
like,
the Brahma Bolt from The Rock's tattoo.
Was it really?
Fucking A.
Yeah. So, and then we see the just a total brain fart.
Yeah,
One
the
of these
armed drones.
The drones. Holy shit. See, Geico caveman.
Apparently they're bulletproof.
So
in the game they're like tissue paper. So.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, like one shot with a revolver, poof, they're gone.
Yeah, but is there a difference between, because he specifically says these are armed?
Yeah, he said they're
armored.
Okay, I haven't
they're armored. One, but... I think they got like a shield around them too, or something.
Yeah, he says it right here. Good luck making a dent with your puny one shots.
But then, how do those things fly if they've got such dense armor plating that they can't be penetrated with like a pistol? Like, how are they even flying?
I mean, you don't have to put on battleship armor on things. Kevlar is actually pretty light.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
bullets don't carry that much inertia, so
it is a cyberpunk future. So I suppose they could have found some sort of like new bulletproof material that's super lightweight and super bulletproof.
Yeah.
So David's using Sandavestin to distract.
Sandev is Stan.
Oh, stop!
It's using Sandia Laboratories to.
Yeah, and Lucy's hacking the drones, and they finally get that all sorted out, and then they start. They get what they need from JK here.
Look at this guy. He has like the post-nut expression on his face.
Yeah.
It's just like, that was so hot. I just came.
Yeah.
He's more like more impressed that they managed to do that. He's like, oh, okay, you beat me. I'm impressed.
Well, again, he's got fallback plans because, again, at the end of the day, you can't kill me because you need me in order to get what you want. And I know that you're mercenaries, so you're not just, cyber psychos running around looking to just, go crazy and shoot people. You're here for economic reasons.
Yeah,
I understand that. I can figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nosferatu is dropping some facts on us. You can literally buy bulletproof skin cyberware. So
you're not bulletproof though. Whatever. It's a show. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cyberpunk. Oh well.
It looks cool. It's animation. I mean, It is.
Yeah, if photons don't work correctly in this universe, why the hell are you worried about armor?
So Lucy is got her man back. David's wiping away the blood from his nose because he's used the Sandy. I'm just going to call it Sandy. So there you go. And so now we have Maine back in the picture with the crew, and they're talking to JK here. Getting some information from when is Tanaka coming. Like it does. They don't really say too much, but like they're just like kind of alluding to the point that like Tanaka is going to show up. And then Tanaka does. He's talking to JK about all the BDs that he's made, and keeping an eye on him, and talking about the James Norris BD and all the other stuff that he's made over time.
That kind of hits me a little bit. It was like sickening. I'm like, that's all like fucked up footage that he just doctored for a lot of these sickos.
Yeah.
And he's got a whole library. It's just extensive.
Right.
Yeah, you got to appreciate the affinity for physical media, though. Which is
yes, exactly. Yeah, no downloadable content for that shit. Yeah.
Don't even need the internet, Choom. But he's
totally
basically. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead there, amateur.
Yeah, but now that mockery that he was doing before, sort of like abstractly, now he's like really laying it out. Like, this is going to happen to you. It's just a matter of time. Are you strong enough? Sort of like giving the main character like not only a big obstacle to potentially overcome, but it's just like it's the ticking clock that's from the game, sort of reiterating. Like you get a chip in your head with Johnny Silverhand on it, and it's like slowly overwriting your brain. And I do believe there's something. I gave up on the novel again. It's just fucking so dated. But Neuromancer.
Yeah,
it's very similar ticking clock thing. I believe in that. I don't know if it stays as the main conflict in that story, but it's certainly a theme that's been in the cyberpunk sort of realm.
Yeah, again, it's the transhumanism component that exists in all cyberpunk, right? And
like all the shit is very temporary.
Right. That's like the minute that you start going down I'm going to accept Chrome, you have put a time limit on either your sanity or your lifespan, or usually both, right?
Yeah, there's actually a great quote that I wrote down. That
it's like getting
very shallow.
Yeah, your soul gets pushed to the edge. You either lose yourself or die. No in between.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
because it talks about how the meat and the metal just aren't compatible.
Yeah, it's basically like the main theme. I think
it's the ultimate form of materialism.
No, well, I think I don't know that that's true, because the fact is that everybody dies, right? You're going to die in the end, regardless of you can go no Chrome. Congrats, you lived 90 years and you're probably miserable or whatever. The trade-off is you either burn fast and have a lot of success in a short amount of time, or you're just a slow fuse that eventually will burn out.
Yeah, like when I say that, I'm like what Nosferatu's saying. You're giving up your humanity for a very material gain that doesn't gel with your soul, I guess you would say, where you're giving yourself into this very sort of violent existence just to make a name for yourself in the world, and maybe not live in your open cast. It's a very crushing reality when you stop to think about it in a world like that. Like,
yeah, but it's a concept that's old as the Greeks, because Homer covers something very similar with Achilles, where Achilles is as long as my name lives forever, I'm willing to make that trade. And then in his final moments, he says, I really wish that at this moment I'd rather be a farmer and never be known and live out a life. But he made that choice.
Yeah, it's just like from the game where is it Jackie? Yeah, Jackie, who's like your cohort at the beginning. That's like his whole goal. Like, we want our names to live on forever. We want to drink at the afterlife named after us. That's like the whole motive. And like
and that you only become legendary or famous after you die.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a crazy outlook.
Yep. Yeah.
His name was Robert Paulson. His name was.
Now he has a name because he died. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
So back to this, we see like obviously the crew has got Jimmy to lure Tanaka to the to see him because he promises him some kind of new special XBD, and so we see Tanaka driving along with some kind of like Uber.
It's
like
a Johnny Cab.
It's
Yeah.
Delamain. It's
Talking to
Delamain
Lex Luthor
Premium.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then it says, as requested, the record of your ride will be expunged.
I look forward to somebody. He just gets out and closes the door, doesn't even let him finish the.
Yeah.
I love how many great nods to the game there is here. Like that Delamain cab service is like a major part of the story. This whole UI for the camera here, that's all baked into the game. Even before when Lucy was like hacking stuff, that little like side game mechanic that you do to hack into things, it's all there. It's great. Even the shapes of the monitors and everything.
We see Tanaka walk in and he's greeted by Jimmy Kurosaki.
There is a statement that JK makes earlier, specifically about the military level Chrome, in that it is constantly recording everything. So that's why he gets the best XPDs out of those. And because David has the Sendebiston, that's why what he plays for them can be, just all encompassing, because he's using military hardware Chrome.
Interesting.
Yeah, it hooks up to your brain, and then the chips that are like the central brain chip of the Sandevistans record it from the perspective of the person who is in the snuff films being killed.
Right.
Damn, that's fucking whack. That's crazy.
And again, it makes sense from a world building perspective, because as a military, you would want to know what happened exactly, what went wrong, right? Was it an ambush? What were the key indicators, for like after action reports, when you lose people. So that's why it would be there.
So so this conversation with JK about his son being discharged, and we all know who his son is. That's Katsuo, that David beat the shit out of, and then we see the crew show up. We see Maine. Like, Maine is massive.
Yeah.
Like, he's a big mother.
I fucking love Maine. I just want to say,
Look at how small his head is in
Tiny little
proportion to
head.
his
I know.
body.
I was gonna say. So
Yeah.
funny.
he's got this big wedge fucking hairdo to make up for his tiny little head.
Just
Yeah, he looks
so
like
Hey, man, it worked
strong.
for Duke Nukem. What are you talking about?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Is that what it's reminding me of? Oh my
Yeah.
god. Okay.
Okay.
And then we got this great shot where we got Tanaka, and then he fades out to Dorio and David behind him. And
I
then
love this. The arrogance. So fucking
do you know who I am?
Do you have any idea what my dad does?
He has this. He tries to make a call. He's hacked by Lucy, who's in the vehicle with Kiwi. So they're both like putting up a scanner, and so he can't make any phone call.
Interestingly, I just noticed this now, but Kiwi and Lucy have very similar haircuts, but Lucy just looks that much more vibrant than Kiwi.
Oh, because she's an A character and Kiwi's a B character. That's why they do that.
I don't know that. Well, I think there's a reason that there's a difference in visual style. I'll see if that plays out with the rest of the episodes.
Well, Kiwi looks like a Taylor Swift, where Lucy looks like. Well, am I wrong?
She loves Sub-Zero and Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Yeah. A Sub-Zero Taylor Swift. Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she kind of does.
This is mainly
She's got blue titties.
Cyber Lin Kuei.
Mm-hmm.
She kills her enemies with mediocre pop country songs.
Yes, well,
that would work
has
on me.
that is, yeah.
Army
She
of fans.
she has no sympathy. She's all cruelty with that kind of death. Yeah.
So Tanaka puts up his hands, and then he fires off these needles,
Yeah, fuck you, bullet hands.
Yeah.
Surprise, motherfuckers.
And then Maine has to get this arm fixed because he's like, again, not fucking now. It doesn't pop up the cannon, and then Tanaka starts taking him out, and then David gets involved and pushes Tanaka out of the way with using the Sandy. And then Maine just like crunches him with a punch here.
Mollywops him.
Yeah.
Mollywops him.
Oh, look at that giant that giant dent he leaves in the side of his face.
Well, not only that, but he takes him entirely off his feet to the point he lands head first before the rest of his body.
Imagine a motherfucker that big bringing an elbow down onto you, though. Fuck, that would hurt.
Yeah, dude, you're probably gonna.
Yeah, he's not having it. He's not having
punched by a bigger
the
dude.
little
It
metal
sucks.
notches. Holy shit!
Hey, dude, that big has a problem with me. I can outrun him, so I'm fine. I'll take it off.
Yeah, you're like 7 feet tall, aren't you?
I'm 6'5", and it don't matter. I was like, I'll push and then run. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So they got what they wanted. They got Tanaka, if he's still alive at this moment. But yeah, Maine, what a pain in the ass. And so then we see this part right here, which is you see Jimmy go to the ground. He's got a needle right in his throat. And then you see him smile at David right here. Oh,
he looks like Waluigi.
And he giggles before he dies.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Great shot.
He really knew what was going to happen to Dave.
Yeah.
So he pretty much got the last laugh on all of them.
Do you think he actually laughed, or do you think David just saw that?
No, I think he giggled.
Yeah, I think he giggled, man.
I think so too.
He's like, what a way to go out.
Yep.
He knew how all of them was going to go out.
So artistically
He's just seen
done,
it over and over again.
Because like his face is different when it goes back to like Davidson, complete shock. He's not smiling when he's dead.
Because he's dead now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to smile.
But he would be still smiling.
No, your face relaxes.
No, your face would relax.
Your muscles go.
I mean, if you somehow could stay that way through like rigor mortis or whatever, but
yeah, somebody held your face and smiling and then waited till rigor set.
It takes how many muscles to smile in your face?
I know it takes less to frown, and that's why I'm always angry.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the opposite.
No, it's more to frown. It's more to frown.
Oh, fine. I'm getting a good workout then.
Trust me, the amount of dead bodies I've seen, he would still be smiling, and then it would after a period of time, it would relax.
That should
not that soon,
real quick.
Well, I was a paramedic for 15
years.
Well,
I know, but I was like,
so I mean,
he would also shit himself.
I've seen, I've seen dead people.
The swelling's a little later.
Yeah, lividity and all that kind of stuff. That's a lot of fun.
It's my favorite line from Game of Thrones. They never tell you how they shit themselves.
That's why I just don't think. I think David saw him giggle, and I think he was just dying. That's my thought, because David has kind of like a PTSD kind of moment here. Like he's like, because he has trouble with death. Like even when he was in that room, he was panicking. He was freaking out.
Well, he's never really been exposed to that much of it.
Well, exactly.
Well, his first exposure is pretty fucking traumatic. Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, I think it's just because he keeps going back to his mother, and he death. He just keeps going back to that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a trauma trigger every time he sees it.
I never painted houses.
Just the interior.
He did raise pigs for a bit, though.
I've seen a red door, and I want to paint it black, though.
Oh yeah.
Shiko has to be done 3 times a day. Enough said. Sensei Copa says so. So yeah, that's why I think that he sees the smiling and the giggling. Everyone else just sees Jimmy just die like that.
I mean, I think it would be the thing is that I think it would be in character for Jimmy to laugh at kind of the absurdity of everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just like after all this, I die from fucking street fire.
Yeah.
with all of my chrome, all of this crazy shit I have, and my platinum level fucking health insurance.
And this look here by David, where he's just kind of like, you know what, they got to suck it up. This is the way it's going to be.
Yep.
From moving forward. Great shot.
This is the end for everybody in this.
But he's also taking a little bit with him, a bit more knowledge. He looks a bit more not in control, but a bit more like
jaded.
He's becoming more wise with each episode, or less naive.
Yeah, the naivete is starting to bleed away.
And it starts to actually, especially I think it's the next episode or the one after, he starts to look different.
Yes, bags under his eyes, like everything's starting to change about him. Like there's a lot of extreme trauma happening in such a short span, and we've talked about this in Arcane with Jinx and Vi. Like they experience so much extreme trauma.
It
fractures their psyche, where Vi acts one way and Jinx is she's so young. Like her brain developed a lot different from where Vi was.
Yeah. So, and they bring that trauma with them through every interaction going throughout the rest of the show, and it's so realistic.
Well, I think the other thing is that when you're in a life that has this, level of violence and cruelty, and that you can do everything right and still get got right. You can either react to it with constant trauma and oh my god and emotion, and you're going to end up dead that much faster, or you start to harden up and suppress a lot of that stuff, where it's just a thing, right? That you emotionally distance yourself in order to survive. That's how anybody who's been alive in this game long enough is going to have a certain emotional distance, because you have to.
So this part right here, the team's bouncing. The trauma team is starting to arrive, and they're like, he has trauma team care. Like he's got the platinum
level, baby.
Yeah, we got to bounce and get out of there, because then they're like, in their words, we'd get fucked over with the trauma team showing up. So, and this is pretty much the end of the episode where we see the trauma team start to show up. Great shots. I love this. And that's the end of the episode. So like we carried this 19 minute episode out for how long did we do this?
Hour and 44.
Yeah,
hour and 44.
Not
great
bad.
job, team.
Well, again, that's the good sci-fi makes you think about a lot of things.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
That's the point of it. It's not just, I saw a thing. It had cool stuff. Let's go. It brings up, truths about yourself even though you don't live in this world, it's like a more accelerated version of things that you would encounter, and makes you think about, the situations and given the realities of this world, how would humans behave?
Well, that's one of the major components in sci-fi. I don't know if it's part of the main triangle of sci-fi, but you have to ask something like morally, have your audience morally question themselves in these situations, and like give them room to like think their way through it before you have your characters do it.
Right.
Which is just something that I think is in all sci-fi, especially Asimov does that quite a lot. I think his entire fucking books are based on that idea.
It's always create a world with certain rules. Now put normal humans in it. How would they react? That's the story. Right.
That's a convention of Japanese storytelling. I don't know how to pronounce it, but exposition or introduction, exposition, twist, conflict resolution. That's the structure of their storytelling, where they create these far off worlds, like shonen.
Well, that's monomyth, really. That's a simplification of monomyth, which is all of storytelling.
Right.
Well,
going back to the ancient
you guys
Greeks.
are going way above my intellectual.
Yeah, I'm too retarded for this one.
I think that's why what you guys are talking about. I think that's why I don't like this show, because it feels like it's created by someone who just fucking hates humanity, which is cool, but it always like It hits me as like it's almost like the opposite of a Disney movie that just is so
where it's all sweet syrup and
about humanity. You know what I mean? It's like the juxtaposition of like two extremes where I'm just like,
well, if you need the
Cyberpunk is always dystopian. That's a necessary component of it, right?
Well, it is a dystopia,
right?
Mike Smith isn't misanthropic. The showrunners for this anime definitely were.
Yeah. Okay, BAGFACE, what were you saying? Sorry.
No. I think it's like it almost bleeds into the characters too much, where it's not like they're one dimensional because they have a lot of dimension, but they all have the same dimension. There's no like character where I'm like, you see the world differently, or you operate in the world in a different manner or different like set of values than everyone else does. They all just kind of have varying degrees of the same value structure, which is enticing to me at first. But then as we carry on in the show and it continues that like every person just basically is the same because they're living in this bleak world that's just like broken them down so much that they've all become like the same hopeless. Like every villain is the same as like the protagonist. Like you know what I mean? It just kind of
that is one of the staples of the cyberpunk universe. Is it's the eradication of humanity and individualism.
Yeah.
So everyone, you either have to conform to like, you can either be a corpo, edgerunner, cyberpunk person, like the street, whatever, or you can run away from the city and go live out with the nomads. Those are like your three choices, right? And you have to conform to one of these, so you can have some backup or some sort of support structure or a means of income. Or you're dead. You'll just get eaten by the fucking machine.
Right. The thing is that if I have someone who's very moral, who cares about people or whatever, how long are they going to last in that world?
I feel like I'd rather see that story though. That's my issue with this show. Is like,
it's just not a genre for you.
The story of the person who like sees the flaws in this world instead of just following a group of characters who are as flawed as I guess it's just my not enjoying, but I really enjoy like Blade Runner and things like that because I feel like there's more like contention within the main character that you follow about like what he has to do to live in the world, where this story kind of feels like everyone's like, woo.
I think that's also it's a side effect of this show. So this is not main show where hero protagonist shows up to do thing, right? These are side characters who live in the world, and it simply give you a taste of how these groups, what their world is, how they would behave.
Well, even with Blade Runner 2, it very much adheres to those archetypes where when we first meet Decker, he's very much beaten down by the world. And Rutger Hauer's character, Batty, he may be a more moral character than some of the other ones because he's, at the end of the day, he's just a robot who wants to live. But even he isn't able to overcome that. And Blade Runner's ending is so ambiguous because you don't really know if Decker is going to be able to break from the conformity or if the system is just going to kill him or not.
I think that just hits the point home for me, which is like there's no one trying to break out of the conformity of this world, and it's like I'm craving it the entire time I'm watching this show. I'm just like,
that is the point, though.
One of the characters,
It's not my favorite.
That is the point.
It's not my favorite type of story either, but I definitely enjoy the shit out of it. But if you want the antithesis to that, I can't recommend Iron Giant enough.
For any reason, I'll watch that movie, dude.
It's such a good movie, man.
I finished the drawing.
Let's see it, bro.
Well, no, slow down. Let's just like
wait a minute. Hold up.
Wait a minute.
Come on.
Wait a minute.
Well, let's go around the horn and let's hear everyone's just general thoughts of the show and their what would they rate this episode. Starting with Amateur, you go ahead and shoot there, bud.
So I basically had to watch 4 episodes in a row, like right before coming on here. I've just been so damn busy with like vacationing and then coming back and then catching up and whatever. But like, I had watched this before, like right when it first came out, but I didn't pay like super attention to it. I enjoyed it, but I don't really remember like how it ended. But like this watch through, I'm very, very much enjoying it. I played a lot of the video game in between, so that definitely helped. Yeah, really good character work, despite the fact that like there's very little individuality with the characters, as BAGFACE pointed out. It's a very complicated sort of like conflict going on. The animation is stunning, like the camera works. You can really feel like the amount of storyboarding that they must have done for this. Yeah, really good. This episode is like, it's sort of like the crew is now together. They're sort of hit their stride, so to speak, in terms of like the overall narrative. And like the super bad thing hasn't quite happened yet, at least as far as like the middle part of the story goes. Feels like a very much Act 2 position where a lot of stories will struggle with, because it can get kind of like bogged down and boring. But I think the show does a great job of just stacking one problem on top of the other. Insanely good efficiency in storytelling. They show us everything that they can show us, and when they do tell us, it's very quick and to the point, and always with a visual aid. In fact, sometimes the visuals get ahead of the explanation, which is quite cool. And it's got this very montage sort of feel to it, which is pretty outstanding. If I had to rate it out of 10, I'd probably give this episode like an 8. Yeah, 8 seems about fair. It didn't like blow me away, but it's very competently done. And I love the villain, who's like very short-lived as well.
Yeah,
as we've discussed already. Yeah.
Sammy.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything. I think it's a good rating for this episode. It's we're finally starting to get past those introductory episodes, and like I said, it's really hard to screw up a smash and grab job, and I thought JK was an interesting enough villain to carry the episode, and it was really satisfying to watch Tanaka, like basically get dropped that way, and Kiwi's blue nips. 10
out of 10. I forgot about those.
I haven't watched Altered Carbon.
I fuck with the first season a lot.
Yeah, the first
season, and then forget that it ever existed after that.
Yeah,
agreed, 100%. Yeah. It gets fucking stupid.
Anthony Mackie cannot carry a show.
Okay. Yes. Oh, yeah.
He's not a leading
Anthony
man.
Mackie, yeah.
He's not a leading man. That's okay. Some people are leading men. Some people are,
Yeah.
I didn't mind him, but that's not my issue with the show.
But he's not bad in Twisted Metal.
No, I think he can with the right script, but it was not the right. And the script wasn't even good enough for like anyone to really pull it off. Yeah,
no, that second season was like, bring your kids to work day and they'll actually do your job.
Yes, I have watched this. It's good. So Beg, your general thoughts,
maybe,
and
to me, this was the first episode that kind of felt like filler, which I don't mind, but like this show moves at breakneck speeds. In almost every other episode except this episode, it just kind of slows right the fuck down. So I'm not the biggest fan of this one, and just because of what happens episode 4 and episode 6, like in hindsight, this episode loses a bit of luster for me. So I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay.
It just based off like like ranking the whole show on its own scale. It's not like a 6 in everything I've ever seen. It's obviously better than that, but
no, I totally get it, because I was saying earlier today, I don't know how many of you watched Shogun, but I was like up to episode 9 of Shogun. It was just phenomenal,
and that's all I saw, and I thought it was over, and I'm like, fuck, there's more. And like, oh, it's terrible. It's like, fuck.
You thought it was terrible?
Me? No, I thought it was fantastic. episode 10, I just felt like it was just a letdown. I felt like it was just, it was one of the weaker episodes. Well, it was the weakest episode, and I felt like it was just kind of rushed, and the pacing was off a little bit. Like, it just didn't do it for me. Like,
Don't spoil it. I haven't seen it yet.
I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just like, I felt like I needed another episode. So
yeah,
I get
apparently
what
it's
you're saying.
over, which is so stupid.
Yeah.
All that fucking character work and it's over. Fuck sakes.
Yeah, it leaves you. It leaves you with a semi. You're just like, whoa, I'm not done. You got blue balls. You're just like, I'm not. I gotta,
Yeah, I'm like halfway there, and we're
done.
done.
And it just ends, and it's just like, whoa, like why?
Well,
are you
in
doing
fairness,
this?
Shogun is like two different. I think the first book is 300 pages, and then the second book is 400 pages. There's Shogun Part 1 and 2, and you're trying to cram that into a 10-episode series of television. That's not gonna be very kosher.
But I get that. But the way they went about it was brilliant, and then the ending doesn't really fulfill the questions that you have throughout the series. You're kind of left there, kind of wanting more. Like, it's just.
I wanted to go all the way up and then finish where Blue Samurai starts.
yeah, I know.
I have the sneaking suspicion that the reason that it kind of dies as a damp squib is because of the changes that they made to not have everything be through the viewpoint of Blackthorn. And so you have all of these other things going and all of these stakes that are set up, and the problem is that's not really supported by the material, and so you end up with.
I don't care. Blackthorn's a great character.
Right, but see the original book and series, everything is through Blackthorn. You don't have scenes where he's not in it.
Okay.
Right,
well,
and
that's
so everything
fine.
as the audience you experience through that. Because you decided to go outside of him and have these other things happening, there's no real resolution in the book that would satisfy that, because you have too many different stories and narratives going, whereas in the original, you are all seeing it through this one person. And so you can make the stakes big, even though for the world as a whole, they may not be, right? Because you're only stuck with Blackthorn. But because they went to go explore the world, congrats, you're not going to have as happy an ending, because for the world, there's not nearly as much stakes or changes.
Is it actual history? I thought it was fiction.
So it's a mix.
No. Yeah,
it's a mix. So make up a fucking satisfying ending. Is that so hard?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be that fucking normie and say that I wanted a gigantic samurai battle at the end, and like you blue-balled me the whole season, making me feel like there's gonna be this fucking sick battle at the end. And then it was just like a nice
and that's the problem, is that you focus so much on Toranaga with the he's the devious and he's got all these things and shit. Right.
Yeah.
If you saw everything through Blackthorn, that would not be, the stakes would be different, right? Because it would be, what is his personal threat? What's going on to him?
Fuck out of Japan. Is his
cannons hadn't been fired since the demonstration.
But okay. Anyway, back to I went off a tangent. That was my fault. Mr. Goodwin, your general thoughts of this episode and your rating.
So I mean, I understand again, when I watched this, I was like, did I take a nap in the middle of this? Because this thing seemed to just blow by, because it's it's pretty one-dimensional story-wise. You don't have a lot of tangents and other people doing other things, right? It's all this very concise snatch and grab kind of situation. I do think that there is some value to it as far as so episode 4, you with Pilar getting ventilated, you have the understanding of the violence, and that any member can get got at any time, right? And so that sets it makes you understand the world better, right? That this is a violent world, that just any small fuck up can end up getting you killed. Now this episode, because you run into JK, you start to get an introduction to how people higher up the food chain view and understand how things work, and how they play one group against another, and then they make money in the middle, right? And so the scope of what's going on, the stakes get increased. Now, I will agree that it's kind of a, really, I shave my balls for this, as far as, how things work out. I do think that there's some interesting questions that are brought up regarding Tanaka. I don't think he's the normal XPD addict. I think he's getting this information because they already know, they're the ones that made this Sindebistan. They are trying to find someone who can actually use this Chrome and not, go cyber psycho. And so I think that what he's doing is he's getting that information, going to JK to get those specific XPDs for the people that have used their equipment. And he's trying to figure out what's going on with that. But they don't reveal that at this time, but that's what it feels like. I very much love JK. I think that like Amateur and I were talking about, I think he's the most honest person in this world. He doesn't try and bullshit the reasons that he does things. He doesn't try and say, oh, I care about these people or whatever. He is the most transactional person in the world, and he has a disdain for both sides of the equation of how he makes his money. He's just there for him, and he all kind of sees this as this is what you do. This is the most logical and obvious thing to do because this is how the world is. And I agree with you. I like the visuals. They keep kind of resetting the bar for interesting shots, for the way that they use color and angles and all that, right? It's getting, as the world gets larger and more complex, it seems like so is their visual language in the episodes. So this one I'd give, probably an 8 out of 10.
Quick shout out to Hypno. Thanks for joining us, brother. I appreciate it. And we are doing well. After last night, I'm doing a lot better. I'm not having to deal with that. Hosty, what's up, brother?
Oh my gosh.
What's your review?
Oh, me? What do I do? Yeah, I thought, excuse me. This episode kind of does lure you into a false sense of security, but I really liked how it sort of played around with the visuals and the emotions of the BD dance scene that JK strapped James into, and how even though he's just like a little one-off villain who has maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes of screen time, he's very well fleshed out in his motivations, and then he's just, bam, gone in an instant. So I think, and it really does start to kind of touch on the heavier themes of the show and kind of rack it up for the audience. So I think I'll give it a 9 out of 10 in terms of rating. Wow. I think this is kind of the turning point for the show. Before, it was great animation, but it was just kind of like a breezy action story. Now it's starting to get like really heavy.
Yeah, agreed.
Nice. I dig it. Well, now we get to Zach, who, like I said in the beginning of the stream, he does takes a character and does the art for it. He pencils it, he inks it, and then he displays it at the end. So what did you do tonight for us there, Zach? But before you do that, give us your take on the show, tonight's show, and give it a rating.
This was a good episode. Again, it's another episode I was just pushing through. To be honest, I was disappointed that Rebecca wasn't in it. God damn it. I was like, yeah, of course. The crew's with them.
Sammy, why do you keep bringing up Rebecca?
Son of a bitch!
Well, all right, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. So you have her brother dead, and I was thinking, I'm like, okay, are they going to touch base on how the sister is doing, how they're holding up? They didn't do that. It was kind of like it happened. Now we're moving along. And it was kind of like, all right, Rebecca's taking a quick break from the gang, and we're focusing a little bit more on how David is interacting with the group. The fucking father, I was like, so typical for him, you know, the father out of everybody that they're after. It's the father of the bully is the one that they need information on. I just thought that was hilarious because his fight moves was similar to his son to some degree. And it was pleasing to see his ass eat fucking gravel. And I mean, if I had to rate if I had to rate the episode, I'd probably rate it like 6 out of 10. But here's the artwork. So the artwork the character I did today was Ripperdoc. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Oh, that's great,
Hell yeah.
man.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
Oh,
so sick,
hell yeah.
bro.
Ooh. It actually
that
looks like
is-
he's twirling that like scalpel or whatever that is. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So he's got
Focus in on that swirl for a minute. This is fascinating. Man, like the impression of movement there is just like uncanny.
So
That's
he's got his
fantastic.
hand like in somebody's fucking like armored chest plating, opened up. I wanted to simplify his background, his workshop. You know, have one of the metal arms just kind of be simplistic with shapes in the foreground dangling. Really, just so that way your eye can go here to like where he is at. And yeah, I honestly, dude, I think you guys picked a good character for this episode. Ripperdoc is a cool dude. There isn't much of him in the show, but I love the premise because even the person who puts people together, nerfs them or buffs them, are also just as cool as the characters that are the main ones.
Man, did you like copy or not copy, but like did you use any reference or is this straight out of your head, like his posture and whatnot?
Okay, so I use reference to know what he looked like and to know like what his shop is, but outside of that, like I was like, okay, yeah, the pose is me, like the whole composition is me. It's because I'm not copy drawing. I just need to know.
No, it's just like, okay, what do his goggles kind of look like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to know what the character looks like, but at the end of the day, I'm coming up with the composition. I'm like, all right, how, like, you know, he's used to operating on people. I'll have him working on somebody. You know.
Yeah, and I like that you had a completely random person that he's operating on. You don't have him operating on another character. You designed another character, so that's a twofer. That's
well, not only that, but it's an understanding of the character. Again, look at the hands.
Yeah,
right? That it's much like JK, right? That you know, precision, not brute force kind of hand. The you know, the angle of the wrists and all that, right? That's very similar to what we saw with JK, and certainly what we've seen with Ripperdoc before.
Oh yeah. I really like how it looks interesting. I like how your hand is drawn to the chest that he's operating on, but it isn't gory in any way. Like there's no like blood splatters or guts coming out. It's just all cybernetic parts. It's a really interesting piece.
Thank you.
Yeah,
great
I really
job there,
enjoyed
Zach.
that one.
Well, and I think doubly so because Zach held his breath this entire episode while drawing that. That's really the difficulty level is so high at that point.
So when it comes for me, when I'm inking, because you know, you fuck up a line, you can kind of see where the whiteout, and I'm not afraid to like put whiteout on a paper, but when I'm touching faces with ink lines, I like to keep the lines like, you know, thick to thin and very crisp. So like eyes, the mouth, the exterior of the chin to the cheekbone, even hair. For women hair, like I'll hold my breath a little bit. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to breathe as you're exerting the line, but it's a habit. It's a habit.
Is that because most of what you're doing are singular strokes that you're not doing multiple, right? And so in order to have the steadiness of hand, you're either exhaling when you do it or you're holding your breath.
Oh, you're using a quill.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like a lot of the stuff that I'm using, you know, I'll have brushes and quills, but there's a thing where if you want to zoom in, Jay, for a second, like I'll just put where calligraphy nibs, they'll have a tendency with
they spread out, don't they?
Yeah, because they're split. Yeah, because that's where the ink flows.
Yeah, they'll tend to like, man, I suck at the angling, but they tend to split. The more pressure you push down, the more the ink starts to like get thicker and fatter. So
yeah, like a calligraphy pen kind
of thing. And
right.
like when you're when you push the line off, man, it has a mind on its own. So that's why I have it's a habit. I hold my breath in sometimes. But I'm glad you like it.
At least you don't hold. At least you don't hold your pen like they taught us in art school, where you hold it from the top. That shit made me want to fucking kill somebody.
Like, yeah. So like,
you watch Eric Larson draw,
coordination to do that.
Yeah, like I've like when I'm gesturing, like I'll have it from the bottom, and I'll just kind of
that's fucking crazy.
Wiggle it. But like if I start to close in, then I'll start to use my fingers. But I've seen people that literally, like Eric Larson, for some reason,
kind of Eric and Larson,
just does this shit like with his fingers.
He's like this too. He's just he's like it's like
he holds it like Christian.
Take my hand, child.
No, he does.
Well, I think he's trying to keep his hand out of the way so he can see the tip of the
lead.
Work perfectly, so he's not looking around in a different angle. One thing that I used to have to do is if I was doing really precision stuff, I would use my left hand to hold my forearm to minimize movements with my shoulders and all that. So it was just the hand.
No, I'm busting out French curves every time. I can't fucking draw the same way.
Well, let's go around the horn and see. Okay, Hosty, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say,
cut off the host, I guess.
Drawing where I'm fine if I'm looking at a photo reference and then copying that, like not tracing, but just copying the image. But I can't like construct my own things yet. I'm not at that skill level where I have like the muscle memory to construct my own things, unless it's like really weird and abstract. Like one time I made this eye that looks like a cyber crow's beak. It was weird.
This man, practice.
Gooch, I don't know. It would take you more seriously if host was in your name, but because it's not, I mean, we have to defer to Hosty. That's just how that goes.
yeah, I know. That's why I said it.
I will say, like, with the people that are watching the shows and they see these drawings, like, I'm really, it's one thing where as an artist who's doing this stuff, I'm like, I got my fingers crossed. I'm like, I hope people will, get something, buy something or whatever. But it's another where you're like, some of these people, man, I've seen people drop a pretty penny on pictures, and I'm like, man, I'm kind of hoping that's like, I get lucky with that with somebody like, oh yeah, here's like $200 for this. Like, I'll be like, fuck yeah.
Oh, I thought you just wanted me to like polish the penny before I sent it to you. I can give you a very pretty penny.
On that note, let's go around the horn again and see what everyone's doing this weekend and next week. We'll start with amateur. Anything going on there, brother? Anything you want to announce?
Nothing of note for the next coming week, but I think I'm doing something with. Oh God, I'm doing something with someone in May. That's like, other than this, that's all I got going on live streaming wise. Still plugging away at my sort of like Disney documentary. It's sort of becoming at this point. Don't hold your breath. It will come out. It's going to take me a while.
Zach, he was telling you specifically.
But yeah, that's all I got going on.
Sammy?
I am gonna be watching a movie with Stupenzo. I don't know when he's gonna release it because Stupenzo does his own thing. He's his own
time has no meaning, and
yeah which I learned the hard way on Monday, where I was like, oh my god, it's 3:30 in the morning. But so, and then Monday I will be on Leon's channel with a couple other guys. Then Tuesday I will be back on this channel for Scavenger's Reign. And then I will be back on Thursday for Cyberpunk. Oh, wow, damn it. Tomorrow I'm going to be on the wrap up with Abomination AJ and Jana. We're wrapping up for the last Airbender. Cool. So I only have to put my head through my drywall one more time.
Aren't there like 2 more seasons that you have to cover?
Shut up, man. We don't have to talk about that right now, do we?
Oh God.
Take it one day at a time, man.
Yeah, God, it'll at least give me like a season. I don't know.
And of course, Bag, and I'm gonna promote you again because, like I did last night, Bag has the best fucking videos out there, and I want him to continue doing them.
Yes,
they're fantastic. The guy is like better than Vice. He's just phenomenal when he puts out a video. Yeah, it's awesome. So go ahead, Bag. Where are you going to be? Yeah, where are you going to be this week, brother?
This week there's a video dropping on Scene Invaders tomorrow, which is Sugar, which you should all be watching because it's actually good. Apple TV shit. BAGFACE's peak. CLS, I miss you.
Yes.
And then I'm putting out a video on their channel too, which is a little different. I'm gonna do this new show came out on Netflix recently called Baby Reindeer. Just phenomenal, dude. Like yeah, so I'm gonna be doing the true story of Baby Reindeer because it's all a true story.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. And it's like the most interesting thing I've ever seen. Like the guy who goes through this crazy situation is also the guy who wrote the show and is the star of the show. So you're watching like the actual dude that went through this shit.
Yeah, that's fucking wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you were talking about it last night. I'm starting to as soon as the stream's over.
Yeah, me too.
It's like when you're watching it, you're like, there's no fucking way this all happened to one guy, but it did. And I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna dig deep and look into some police records and stuff. So I'm excited.
Awesome.
Nice. Awesome. Cool.
And of course, you'll be back here next Thursday. So
be back here next Thursday.
Yeah. And there's plans in the future, but we can't announce. So, but there's plans. Yes. Mr. Goodwin, sir, what do you have going on?
So yesterday I worked with Northern English Bastard, and we covered the excellent Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Please watch that because that movie is so underappreciated in the the kind of technical work that they went through. That they brought back people who actually were involved in shooting those original film noir movies actually worked on this one as well. So if the movie is underappreciated, Neb's coverage of it is definitely underappreciated. So fix that shit. Friday, I'll be on B-sides on Adam Gray's B-roll stage. I believe the movie that we're watching is Naked Youth. I try very hard not to learn or watch anything before I have to on that show, and I'm sure it'll be terrible as it usually is. But we will laugh at it and point.
Dark web. It's very sus.
I'm not gonna lie. I look forward to the B-sides. It's a lot of you guys have a lot of fun ripping those movies apart. It is. I laugh a lot watching you guys talk about that. So, yeah.
Well, God knows we're not going to be entertained by the movie.
I can't find it.
It's B-roll stage.
That is why. Okay.
They have a lot of fun, and then at the end he has a lot of funny clips from all over the world and stuff that he puts on there. It's great.
Good
like
Lord.
Little commercials or infomercials and like other things that he adds there. I could be wrong, but
my favorite is it's a short that was made back in the early 2000s in the style of a Burns documentary, like PBS documentary, but it's called NASA, the Negro American Space Society of Astronauts, and it's basically like the Negro Leagues in baseball. The idea is that black people, because they couldn't be in NASA, decided to set up their own space program, and they actually landed on the moon like 3 years before NASA did. It is classically hilarious. Bex, we broke her.
Oh, that shit.
When we showed her, she was watching it, and she died for about 5 minutes. She could not catch her breath.
I've seen it. It's fucking wild.
Are you going to be on Mr. Brown this weekend at all, or?
I don't have any idea. Brownie usually gives like an hour's notice, for us. I know that we need to finish up Star Trek 6, but he's getting pretty close to. So May the 4th, he's doing his 12-hour stream that he owes everybody for hitting his 3,000 goal. And then on the 5th, I believe he's doing several hours as well. So I'm sure I'll be on those anyway.
Nice. Hosty, anything you want to announce besides the Has Been Hotel?
Yeah, after it should be coming out shortly. I'm done. I'm about halfway through the video in terms of length, I think. And I'm just gonna be back here next Thursday for Edgerunners, but I'm probably gonna be radio silent more towards the middle of May because that's when I really start working, and I probably won't have the time for it. But other than that, after that, I had gone down a bit of a rabbit hole about this Nigerian mafia called the Black Axe Cult. So I think I might do like a video of some nature on them in the near future because that's an interesting story.
Is that techno cult that that involves like a mix of witch doctors and Nigerian prince scam type stuff?
Yeah, and very violent murders. Like one of their I'm pretty sure that's them. What you're referring to, like,
You sound different. Did you get laid?
Yeah, did you get laid?
Did you? Yeah, I have the abilities of astral projection. I am capable of being.
She didn't know that he got laid, but he did. Yeah.
Oh, poor little.
Yeah, actually, Hostman, if you wanted to get some background on that, there's a guy named Ben Jordan, who's a musician, but he's also does a lot of tech stuff or whatever. But so there was a scam that was being run out of by one of those cults, targeted at musicians, and he kind of has the tech autism that I so identify with. So he ended up getting a hold of the guy who was the actual scammer, and then got in touch with the witch doctor that he reports to and did a whole expose on it. So check out Ben Jordan's channel. And
Ben Jordan. Alrighty.
I was about to say, what does this have to do with getting laid?
Like sometimes you got to go to a witch doctor.
No, but he started with
Anything
Hostman.
helps.
If you want, I was like, oh, where's this going?
It's like learning guitar.
I know a gal up the street.
Yeah.
Zach, we'll finish off with you. Zach, where are you going to be? Anything you got planned?
I'm about to hop on to Twitter, starting to post stuff next week on Wednesday. I'm gonna be catching up on there. But for the most part, I'm just kind of like chilling, making artwork. I'm wrapping up my my book. I'm in the editing phase for Voyage issue 1. About to get the books ordered pretty damn soon. So the backers who have that, they can get that real quick. The problem was, just the quotes from these publishers. It's crazy. Paper has went up a lot of money. Just the cost of print. It's fucking ridiculous, but it is what it is. And I feel bad for the people just waiting because I was trying to get the best quality for a cheap price. But moving from that, and I got the commission I'm in the middle of working on for Sammy 3-Pete. So that's gonna,
dude.
I'm pretty stoked on that. Like I said, he's got something really, really cool. I've been excited putting it together. And I'm just gonna have fun doing that.
Nice. I'm so stoked. He sent me some roughs. He's like, let me know. I was like, no, you pretty much nailed it. Like right out of the gate. So I'm very excited to see it. And then I'm very excited to when he's all done, he's gonna mail it, and I got a special place on my wall that I'm gonna hang it. So
we know it's a life-size Lucy. Is there a hole in that wall by any chance?
You told him?
FBI, open up!
Yeah,
I sent him a pretty penny, man. That's all it took. It was easy.
Wow, Adam, thanks for coming in, Chrome Up Hookers.
That's a good quote for a t-shirt,
Adam.
dude.
Yeah.
Take it like, let's say like I was taking one of the drawings that I've been doing for the show, and I take that quote and be like Chrome Up Hookers right on top of it,
or Chrome Up Chooms.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
the man is here himself. Go check out B-Sides tomorrow night.
Nobody said anything nice about B-Sides, Adam. You know better than that. Stop it.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to find it, and everyone helped me find it. So I am now subscribed, and I will definitely.
You need to remember those names so you know
YouTube
who to blame afterwards. That's
to be fair though, YouTube does not promote him at all. In fact, I think he might actually be shadow banned because even if you type in his exact channel name, it does not.
It's still
come up.
Yeah.
That's like, what the hell?
Well, YouTube's doing some funny things because it's right now it says I have 2 people watching, but there's more than 2 people in the chat. So I mean,
yeah, the live analytics have always been.
Oh yeah. Well, no, it's gotten really bad where it's like, it shows 2, and then like 6 or 8 hours later, suddenly it'll bump up to 30 or 40.
I literally have like 4 or 5 people watching, and it said I had 1 person on here. And I'm like, because I wanted to see exactly what was happening. So YouTube's doing funky things. So, but on that note, I want to say huge thanks to everyone here. I appreciate you guys coming on to the channel, talking about the, animation, the things that we love to, watch and talk about. For me, you can catch me on Saturday Night Hypnosis on Hypnotics. This week we got Eric July joining us, so it should be a really banger of a show. I know I have a lot of questions, so I'm excited for that. I want to thank everyone from last night as well. That was a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs. I love doing those one-offs. Those are a lot of fun. And this Tuesday we will be doing Scavenger's Reign, episode 8.
Yes.
And then of course next Thursday is going to be episode 6 of Cyberpunk Edgerunners. So again, join us for those. And then next Wednesday I have Vaughn Coleman coming on, and we're going to be talking about his newest book, Phenomena Nova. And we'll be talking about that and promoting that, and hopefully making some sales for him. And so that's all I got. Also, I want to say a quick shout out or a quick note here for kind of, because I know everyone's having a tough go out there. The weather's getting nicer. Let's get out there, get some sun. If you're struggling with mental health, please talk to someone. And if not, be a friend, call a friend, say something nice. It could change their day. And the words of Pat McAfee. So everyone, please take care. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll see you next week, and take care.
See you, Space Cowboy.
You ever dance with the devil in the bed?